Hi, I'm Kurek, author of the international best-selling book, How Would Love Respond, and the creator and founder of Action Heroes Incorporated. I hope you're curious about what that is, because you're going to be finding out about it soon, and wow, are you going to be excited about it. And on today's video, what I want to talk with you about is a question that can change your life, and that is, how do you want to be remembered? And it's probably not a question that you've thought about very often. You may be quite young right now in your life, and you're like, am I dying? Why are you asking me this question? Well, the reason I ask it is that if you want to be remembered a certain way, well, the only way to do that would actually be start living that way right now. Make sense, right? Because otherwise, how are you going to be remembered that way if that's not actually how you lived? And you know, a lot of people, they know my story. It's been out there for a long time, and that is back in 1989, I was an actor in those days, working in Hollywood and motion pictures. I had just finished a movie with Sylvester Stallone in Los Angeles. Now I'm on my way to the Philippines to go do a movie with Chuck Norris. Man, I was 27 years old. Here I am working in big budget movies, working with icons and legends that I just love. In my own personal life, you know, I look up to these guys, and now I'm getting to work with them. And you know, during the filming of the movie with Chuck Norris, by the way, the film is called Delta Force 2. We were in the Philippines filming, and during the course of filming the movie, I was involved in a helicopter crash on the set where 5 of my friends died, and one of my very best friends died in my arms, and he was 29 years old at the time of his passing. You know, my world went into a very negative tailspin after that. You know, drugs and drinking and, you know, suicide and just depression and all the other things that I went through in those days, and just was on a downward spiral. And one of the things that really changed my life in those days was that I asked myself, how do you want to be remembered, Kurek? See, because before the helicopter crash, I was this positive guy. I was this guy who was coaching other people. Yeah, even when I was in the movie industry, I still did coaching. I still did speaking engagements. You know, I did it more probably part-time in those days because I had the movie industry, which was my job. But I was always doing it. I've kind of always been doing it. It's been my whole life. And so here I was, this positive guy, this guy who worked on personal development, the guy who taught personal development, and then my life goes into this tailspin. And I asked myself, how do you want to be remembered? Well, not for this. Like, if it's all going to be over here, and by the way, as you know, suicide things that were going on in my life, having a gun in my mouth every night and those kind of things, and using drugs, and by the way, it could have been over. I guess I'm glad I'm not a success at everything in life, right? Is, you know, it could have been over, and at that point, how would I have been remembered? Well, probably as a guy who had a lot of promise, a guy who had a lot of ability, and unfortunately was just another sad story of somebody who could have been something great and could have done something great with their life, but didn't. Now, your life doesn't have to be in a tailspin to have this scenario play out, right? The thing is that if you're not living as the person that you want to be remembered as is right now, well, when are you going to start living as that person, right? Are you a person that made a difference on the planet? You know, now by the way, on the planet doesn't have to mean that you changed everybody's life in the whole world. It could be the people in your life, in your world. What kind of impact did you leave on them? Did you strive to make the very best out of yourself? See, because the natural order of the universe is for everything in the universe to seek to reach its highest potential, which means to evolve. Because in life, either you evolve or you dissolve. You're either growing or decaying. Nothing stays the same. So are you that person who is consistently seeking to reach your highest potential, so that not only do you have a better quality of life, and I mean holistically, but also is that you show other people that it's possible. Why? You're doing it. That you can show people how to do it. Why? You know the way. You're actually doing it. and that you're this inspiration for people because you're consistently doing it. It fires up other people. They get inspired, and they'll say that to you. Man, you inspired me. Which, by the way, inspired means that they get to see their own spirit. Inspired, in spirit. And so when we participate and we play full out and we work on evolving ourselves, we actually make a difference to everybody around us. Now, by the way, you might not even know about it. There's people who have come up to me over the years that said, man, you changed my life. You made a difference. Recently, a few years ago, I was awarded from my high school, as Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. And wow, what an honor. My high school was so instrumental in helping me develop who I am today and who I became and what I do with my life. And I have teachers there from, when I was in school who still to this day are very dear personal friends of mine, made a massive impact on my life. And then I'm honored with this. Well, it all came from one woman that, when I was a high school student, I didn't even know this, until she reminded me of it, is that she said, when I was in high school, because of where I was, I had a terrible time. Nobody even noticed me. Nobody paid attention to me except for you. You always had this smile on your face. You were always outgoing. You always came up to me and asked me how my day was, and you give me a hug because you're a hugger. You always say that. I'm a hugger. Deal with it. Right? And by the way, I'm still that way today if you know me. And she said, you always said to me, if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. And it's because of you. You inspired me and you kept me going. And so all those years later, she's the one who nominated me for this award at high school, and she contacted me and she told me this story about how it made a difference in her life. And the reason I share this story with you is because I wasn't a guy on stage, I wasn't a best-selling author, I was just a high school student. I was a high school student that was working on myself and trying to make the best out of myself, and I was sharing that with everybody around me, just unconsciously. Why? It's what you do. When you're doing it for yourself, you become abundant, you want to share it. Does it make sense? And so you work on yourself to be the very best that you can be, to evolve yourself. Your education, your communication, your level of self-love, how you love yourself and how you can love others, your health and fitness, business, wealth, all of it. If you work on growing yourself, man, you become the inspiration for other people. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of people you're going to make their life better. You won't even know it. Or maybe you will later on down the line. The thing is, you just have to trust that just by living this way, I am making a difference. And by the way, you're doing it, the benefit is right there for you instantaneously whenever you do it. So, did I make a difference? Did I count? Did I count while I was here? That's what making a difference is all about. Did I love? Did I love other people? Did I love myself? Because every issue that we go through in this lifetime is a self-love issue. Because if you really love yourself, would you allow yourself to stay poor or middle class? If you really truly loved yourself, would you abuse drugs or abuse alcohol or smoke cigarettes? Now, I'm not judging those things. I'm asking you, if you really loved yourself at that level, would you do it? So as you see, and by the way, you can ask a hardcore smoker, hey, why don't you put a cigarette in your baby's face? Your infant baby. What are you, insane? I would never do that. Why not? I love my baby. See, but they'll do it to themselves. So my point being is every issue we have is a self-love issue. And if you read my best-selling book, How Would Love Respond, you'll see that I was given a gift. And the gift is, I'll share it with you right now, and that is, everything in this life is borrowed. We got to give it all back. The only thing you get to keep is the love that you gave, the love that you received, and the experiences your soul got to have. By the way, that gift is etched in my spirit. It's the way I do everything in life, is the love you gave, the love you received, and the experiences your soul got to have. And how do you have those experiences in your soul? Is you love it all. Have gratitude and love for everything you get in life. Anything you get to do it in a loving way. Everybody you come in contact with, treat them in a loving way, and certainly yourself. Always treat yourself in a loving way. Quit beating yourself up. Instead, acknowledge yourself for everything you're doing approximately right, and ask yourself every day, look in the mirror and convince that person, You know, that you love them. Ask yourself every day, what do I love about myself? And people go, what? Look in the mirror, say, I love you. Ask yourself, what do you love about yourself? That's egotistical. I'm going to tell you it's egotistical not to. E-G-O, edging God out. It's not a religious thing. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. You know, universe, one verse, the one song of love that we all sing, the most powerful force. And so you want to connect to your Creator, you want to connect to the universe, that's through self-love. And so it's all about it's about, yes, learning how to love yourself, because then you connect. Because how are you going to love anybody else if you don't love yourself first? So yes, we want to do that. You know, did I love? You know, did I make a difference? And did I have some fun? Did I enjoy this lifetime? Because the whole purpose of life is to enjoy it. Because when you enjoy it, you'll spread the enjoyment. And everybody around you will too. So, how do you want to be remembered? And the key to that is start living that way right now. Because for all of us, death, it's inconvenient. It may not be when you think it's supposed to be. It may not be as long as life as you think it's supposed to be. So start living that life right now, so that when it's that final time at the very end of it, you are remembered how you wanted to be remembered. And by the way, the benefit is the living of it. While you're here, the living of that great life. So at the end, when you want to be remembered a certain way, you are remembered that way. I hope this is of real value to you. This will change your life when you ask it, because it does hold you to a higher standard, and it gets you to participate at a higher level, and the fulfillment is amazing. So until I talk with you again, have a really most outstanding day.